Hello, my name is Hannah Carlton, and I'll be doing a speech today on organ donation. Um, Basically, talking about the pros and cons of organ donation and how it could be a benefit. I believe that organ donation is a heroic thing to do, just basically because you're donating your organs to someone that could really need them and that might benefit from them. That is why that I have marked myself on my driver's license as an organ donor. I agree with Burroughs in The Right Thing to Do that in that organ donation saves lives and that those who donate could reap or should reap more benefits from it. I believe that their families should be compensated for their loss and their organ donation and rewarded for that. And this could help with financial stress of medical bills and stuff like that due to the accident that caused them to wind up being an organ donor. In this speech, I'm going to talk about a couple cases with organ donation and how those may have failed, along with why I think it's important to be an organ donor. So the first case we're going to get into was a 22-year-old named Elijah Smith. He was pronounced dead on July 4th of 2013 after a pretty bad bicycle accident. He was put on artificial life support for the time being, and the family began to decide what they would do as far as organ donation or not. He did have marked on his driver's license that he was an organ donor, but his family did not want to have his organs harvested for their own reasons. His mother stated that he didn't fully comprehend the decision that he made on his driver's license. But government officials thought otherwise, and when they were involved to resolve the issue, their response said that no one could undo what he had did, not even his family. So they harvested his organs anyways, without his family's consent. And due to that, there was a lot of court cases involved with that, and they were very upset that their son's organs were harvested without their consent, and just because he had it on his driver's license. So should the government have any control over whether a person's organs or our organs are donated or not? In Elijah's case, the government officials kind of spoke for him. He really obviously didn't have a say except for what he put on his driver's license. And they stated that if an individual wishes to be a donor, then their family should abide by their wish. However, his family was very upset by this, which could in turn have consequences in violating their rights as his family, and rights as being in the situation being more kind of a personal matter rather than him actually saving a life. So it kind of became more about them taking his organs rather than the lives that he saved. Elijah's mother had felt as though her son had no say and was officially dead until his organs were removed. She felt that he still needed them even though he would never wake up again. And that, was her personal belief. Like I said, it was what she believed it was her son. So in a way, the family's rights were violated. After this case, Lifeline, which is an organ donation agency, decided to encourage donors to talk to their families, to talk to their parents about their decision, to avoid cases like Elijah's where the family wasn't really wanting to have his organs donated, but they were donated anyways because he marked it on his license and government officials thought that it was necessary. So was the family justified in their stance against Elijah's donating his organs? Or were the government officials right in their decision where they took his organs just because he had it on his driver's license? Well, he did consent to having them donated, and in the process, he saved a lot of lives. By you marking that on your driver's license, you consent to doing that. But based on Burroughs' views, the family should have been compensated, and that Elijah's donation was an act of bravery on his part, and they should have been provided some kind of compensation for that because in turn they did lose a loved one in the process. So when should the government step aside? In another case, this is with David Addicks. He was diagnosed with ALS, which we know basically paralyzes the entire body. David always wanted to help others, and so he decided that he wanted to become an organ donor. And then he decided in May to have his ventilator, which that's what was helping him breathe, removed in order for his organs to help sustain for donation. So the Medical University of Newmark Hospital were going to perform the procedure until government officials stepped in, stating that this procedure would look too much like assisted suicide, so they didn't want it to go on. But after hearing the news, Addicks' physician decided to go ahead with the procedure, stating that it was up to the patient whether or not he would live. So in May, his procedure was performed and he was able to donate his kidneys and his liver. So should David have been denied his request, or should the lawyers have ignored his request? Well, David gave his organs to help others even though he couldn't help himself. His decision was not his way out of a painful life. It was a gift of an organ to a person who needed it, and he truly believed that. Bauer states that a donor should be evaluated by a physician in order to truly give their decision by donating, ensuring that they are in their right mind, and David did that with his doctor who later performed his procedure. So who gets the rights to determine a donor's organs if they're donated? Well, it really comes down to kind of a pyramid of effect. So at the top of the pyramid, you'll see it'll be the individual, and then below that it would be the family, and then the last would be a physician and the government. So how can organ donation be abused? Well, organ donations is supposed to help save the lives of others, but sometimes people start selling organs on the black market. As a result, many people die in that case, just because they're really wanting more money. In a lot of third world countries, you see this where they'll literally give their lives to pay and make their families financially stable. So should donors and their families be compensated for their donation? To me, yes, I think so. There's a shortage of organ transplants, and it has a great negative effect on those needing organs. And there's at least 6,000 people a year in the U.S. alone that have died on the waiting list. And then Bauer states in The Right Thing to Do, this is due to more people would be willing to donate if they had some sort of incentive, and which it would save a lot of lives. And it would also help, make it easier for families that did lose a loved one. So donation does save lives. Through the information given, to you today, you must decide, are you going to become a donor or not? I recommend it because you do actually save lives, and with a personal connection, without organ donation, we wouldn't have some of our loved ones around today. Thank you.